G'day and welcome to Queensland Farmer. Well, we've had about 70 mils of rain over the last 24 hours or so. This is one of the dams just down from the house, and you can see it's filling nicely. Sam is running through the water. She just loves water, this dog. Yeah, loves water. Anyway, fortunately she doesn't go swimming in the dams, but she just likes to get her feet wet. So as I was saying, this dam's looking pretty good. That outlet that you can see just there is where we pump water into this dam from another dam. Haven't needed to do that for quite some time, but it's there if we need it. This is the spillway. So as this dam fills up, so from the right where the dam is, it spills over to the left, fills this area up here, and then maybe about 20 metres up in this direction here, it spills and it goes down there, and it's directed away from the back of the dams so as to ensure that there is no erosion occurring. It seems to work pretty well. As I said, Sam's into the water. So this is the first time I've been out in the ATV in the rain, and this one's got a windscreen. So it's made such a big difference to have a windscreen in the ATV compared to the other one. Thanks again to Woomba Bike and Bits for doing us a pretty good deal on this unit. So it's relatively dry inside. Usually when we are in the ATV, or certainly the other ATV that we had, the other Land Boss, you'd come back soaked. It was like you'd had a shower when you were going through rain. But not particularly the case now. Okay, let's go to the big dam. Actually, just while I'm travelling here, these are some of the things we need to really be careful about. And these are ant nests from termites. And just, it seems, it's not overnight, but it seems overnight they seem to just pop up. If you're ever wondering whether or not we're going to get rain, these are often the telltales of whether or not we're going to get rain, because the termites seem to know, and they start building. And hopefully you can see the difference in the colour there. That's the new build, and that says that there is going to be rain. I'm not sure when that was done, but they're generally pretty right. But the problem is that if they're only small and you don't see them in the long grass, you can either hit them with the front of the tractor or hit them with the ATV and do damage.
So you need to be constantly aware that they could be around in the paddocks when you're driving. Looks like we've got another shower of rain coming, which is great to see. Just think, it wasn't that long ago that we had smoke all through this valley, and look at it today. And of course, as per normal, we've got some kangaroos there just checking us out, making sure that they can see what we're up to. Okay, well, now off to that big dam.
Well, it's well and truly overflowing. So from previous videos you might recall that we've got some rocks in there. Sort of goes along the side of that wall to give it some protection. Well, clearly they're completely invisible, and it's in fact expanded out into this opening. I'll take a better shot from over here, I think. So you can see that that spillway is working absolutely perfect. Gee, I'm happy with that. So you can see where that, just zoom in, you can see where that bucket is there. That's where we normally put the pump. But because it's been, you know, fairly moist a couple of years, I haven't actually needed to use the pump over there, so I've got it sitting in the shed. Obviously when it does flood like this, or overflow like this, that pump actually gets wet, and I've done that once already, unfortunately. I've drowned it, but managed to get that fixed. Anyway, I digress. So this water is coming from that direction. It's spilling out a bit here and it's heading down here. And you can see it's got a little bit of speed going through here. Might see if I can find something to throw in to give you an idea of how quick that's moving. It won't be Sam. So let's see how this works. There you go. Hopefully you can see that bit of grass on its way. So all under that area there aren't rocks, but certainly up in that direction there's sort of rocks through here. We'll do this at a later time, funds dependent, but anyway, we'll get there. And at least what's happened here is a lot of grass has grown here, so that'll slow the water down. And once again, this wasn't exactly by design, but it's worked pretty well. It's sort of spreading out over a larger area, which means that the water isn't as intensive on the ground, so therefore not likely to bring up sort of erosion. And in fact, if you look at the colour of the water, it's actually pretty clean. So there's no turbidity, so it hasn't been digging it up, it hasn't been eroding, which is absolutely what we're chasing. So I'll just walk down to where this area connects. And I expect to see a fair bit of water down here. Now this isn't really flooding. This really is just a bit of a rain event. And there's no drama here at all. It's doing what it's supposed to do, what we've sort of planned for. Now, here's a bit of water that's coming. You might see that water that was coming out of that spillway is rejoining behind the dam in this grassy area here. And again, if you can, you aim for that, so there's no erosion, so it's sort of slipping down into that water. And this is where it's really got going. Got some plans to do some work here at some stage. I'm going to try and negotiate a deal with the local electricity provider, given there's wires going over the top. They do need access to this area, so I'm hoping to negotiate to get them to put some big pipes in here. So we'll get road access through here for their equipment when they need to get it in here. And I might get that at a discount with a bit of luck. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So this goes out and around, and that heads off our property. Okay, right, well, I'm going to wander down there, but I'll turn the camera off and we'll switch it on again when I get closer to where all that water comes together. I can't really get down to where I want to get to, but you can see that water that I pointed out in that last section of video, that's coming from around this corner, and it comes around this corner and it hits a series of natural leaky weirs. These actually look pretty good when the water's not running, just to show how the leaves get caught up on twigs, which get caught up on the larger bits of timber. But it's all doing its bit, and that is just to slow that water down. And that's natural, that's nothing that I've done there. You can kind of see over here where it's actually caught up and a bit of an overflow has occurred. And then over beyond where Sam is, you can see it's happening there. It's actually going underneath a tree and disappearing. That sound of running water is lovely to hear. Can always be drier. And here's another little sort of tributary that's sort sort of coming from almost nowhere. It's quite interesting how that starts. I'll have to go and figure out where that water's coming from. That's interesting. Anyway, so that goes around there and then heads off into that larger body of water down underneath that tree and then away. Okay, so I'm going to go and find out where that other water's coming from because it looks like it's just appearing, which might mean there's a hole, which I hope that isn't the case. And it is the case, so that's interesting. So the water just appears to be flowing from just there. If you sort of look around, zoom out a little bit, if you look around to the right hand side, there's almost no water here. And yet there's a heap of water coming out of here. Tiny bit just from here, but the main body of water is coming from here. So that's obviously travelling underground in the way of a tunnel. So that's a bit of a problem. So I'm just going to go and look and see. Yeah, I think I found it. So look at that. All that area there is dry. And you think, no, there's no issue here. And then you travel up here a little bit further. And here's the tunnel. This is the stuff that causes erosion. So looks like I've just found another project. So that water is sort of coming back from that area there, coming down and then disappearing underneath the ground. Over time, that area there that it's travelling under will just sort of fall apart, and that will be a big open area. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do there. But anyway, like I say, another project. Always projects. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go up now and have a look at the roadway that we did. You remember that big piece of work? We had an excavator up there and a skid steer, and we put tons and tons of rock down. So we'll go and have a look at that and see how that's handling this rain event. So we're up on almost the highest bit of our land that we've got here. So it's a little bit windy, and you can see that the rain's still coming down. Directed the water off the road here, so this road has remained pretty good. So it's running the water down the side. Obviously it's getting caught up on these rocks here, and a bit of water's coming out through the bottom. You know, it's not clear, but it's not too bad. There hasn't been a lot of erosion. Again, given we've had a fair bit of rain in a short period of time, coming down through here, and then coming into this bowl here of rocks and then disappearing underneath the road. So it now pops out on the other side, and there it goes. So I put some grass seed down there, but once I put the grass seed down, it kind of stopped raining, and I wasn't interested in coming up here and throwing water about, so just sort of hoping that will catch on. But you can see that there is a little bit of greenery that has appeared, which is a good start, and it sort of heads that way, and then I know that the water runs down this hill. I do have some future plans to do something here. I'd like to put a trench across here to try and retain some of that water from sort of expressly running down through that little valley there into that dam. See on the right hand side of that dam the water's overflowing, which isn't surprising, so we've had plenty. So this is the most rain we've had since this was done. Just had to clean the lens, it looked like it had water all over it. So this is the most rain that we've had since this work was done, and it's holding together beautifully, so I'm really happy with that. The ATV's starting to get a little bit wet, and you can see now why I've got a wet bum. But anyway, we'll head up the hill and we'll see what else we can see. that's working nicely too. So that was the other piece of work that Andrew did. He's the guy that did all of this work. Comes down here, and we've sort of used a contour and a woe buoy together.
And it shoots off out to the right hand side and then down that hill towards that dam. And you can see that water flowing out to the right hand side of that dam a lot clearer now. As you can see, these yards are a sloppy mess right now. Thankfully we don't need to put cattle in them anytime soon. Just in preparation for this rain event, I managed to get up and clean the gutters of that shed, and there's plenty of water running into that tank on the left hand side, and you can see it's flowing out to the right hand side. Well, it's been a wet time, and I'm happy to share that with you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let's hope it's the start of another wet year. And apologies for the pretty awful audio at times. It was a very windy day and I didn't want to get my microphones wet.